feel afraid. I feel fear, and that's okay. Fear is something that is allowed. I know it's not my soul that's afraid, it's ego, and that's okay. The experience is here all the same. I feel fear. I've been feeling quite a bit of it. I mean, on and off. It's been enunciated today. So much has been changing and continues to change. Pushing for surrender again. Last week, a coworker of mine left to take a new job. Today, another coworker of mine was let go as a part of downsizing the business that I work at. It was unexpected. I didn't know anything about it. Usually those kinds of things are communicated to me, not always. But it took me by surprise, certainly. And of course, brings up all kinds of thoughts. That triggers a whole collection of thoughts. A whole category of I don't even know what to label it. Thoughts related to not having a job, thoughts related to not being able to pay bills, not being able to provide for myself, thoughts related to survival, money, a whole stream of lack thoughts around money. And then those lack thoughts around money connect to thoughts of unworthiness, questioning of value. It's a whole beast of things that's triggered from that. Unworthiness, guilt. I mean, it's got tentacles everywhere. It's a big, gnarly thing that's been triggered. A big feeling of unsafety, of insecurity, instability. Rising up and challenging the awareness of well-being, which of course just pushes me, challenges me to stand more powerfully in that place. And right now, I'm not in it so much. I can feel it a little bit. This other thing has a lot of momentum. And if I allow it in even at all, it just grabs. It's got major hooks and it runs away. It is a runaway train. There is no stopping that train. That train has got years and years of personal and collective energy added to it. And I don't want to be on it. I keep stepping off and finding myself there again. Successfully earlier, I was able to stop thinking, to recognize that if I could not think a positive thought because this negative thought pattern had so much momentum, I could choose simply not to think. Again, I could get off that train entirely. If I can't reach a good feeling thought from where I am, then I can reach a place of no thought. I can't simply stop engaging. But my goodness, has it been a challenge to do that? To get back into the body and out of the mind, there's that gravitational pull to it. It's like a black hole. It's just question after question. What if after what if, trying to project down this path to predict something, to plan, to prepare, but there is no certainty, there's nothing to plan for, there's nothing to prepare, it's all unknown, and the mind is tremendously uncomfortable with unknown. It tries to project into a predicted future reality, but it cannot predict. And any of its predictions, anyway, are worst case scenario, typically. They're never good. They're never the predictions of things working out in a wonderful, synchronistic way. That's not what the mind predicts. The mind predicts struggle. The mind predicts suffering, doom, and gloom. There's no fucking truth in the brain. All of that shit is made up. And it's pointless. It is pointless. But I get it. Once upon a time, the mind was just trying to predict if the tiger would run right or left. And that was simple enough. And if it was wrong, well, it wasn't wrong for very long. It was over pretty quickly. So there really wasn't much to worry about there. You make a decision. Right or left? And if it was the wrong decision, then that was it. It was done with. Reminded of Abraham Hicks saying, if you feel like you're falling out of a plane without a parachute, don't worry, it'll be over soon. Just let the death happen. There is that kind of feeling. It's amazing how much like life or death things can feel, things that are not life or death, not in the moment. In fact, in the moment, there is nothing happening. Right now, absolutely nothing is happening. Right now, I am here. I am in a home. It's quiet. It's still. There are no tigers. Nothing is chasing me. There is no threat. And yet all of these alarm bells going off inside saying danger, run. But there is nowhere to run, so the mind tries to run to the future. Future which doesn't exist. There's nowhere to run, and I don't want to run from this. From what I'm feeling, from what is being experienced, from what is. There's no power in running. There's no peace in it either, certainly. I want to just be here, to face the unknown. That is the definition of that strength card, and I see it every time I think of it. I see the one from the Guardians deck, with the mouse facing the snake. Knowing this is either certain death or something never before seen. The mind is afraid of both, but it's amazing how much more afraid it is of uncertainty, of the unknown. Death is predictable. Death is certain. It would almost rather take death. In fact, it really would. Just to have that certainty that, well, just end it then. As opposed to even facing the potential of something other. Some new, as yet unexperienced, unfamiliar life. That's how twisted the mind has gotten. It perceives so much threat in so many things that it is really decided self-destruction is a safer option. Well, that's okay, because I don't need the mind. The mind is not me. The mind is not myself. I can let the mind implode. I can let the mind collapse in on itself. I can watch that happen. And feel the relief of it too. My goodness. Let the wheels fly off. Let it run itself into the ground. Maybe it'll find some peace there, buried in the earth. Poor sweet mind. It's so lost and confused and afraid. It doesn't know. It doesn't know how to know. It was made to think, but thinking cannot help it here. The only option is surrender. It wants to fight and fight to the death. But I do not wish to do battle with it. I want to rest. I'm aware that I am in a state of extreme resistance, and that's okay. It is where I find myself. It's where I am. There are no bad feelings. There are just feelings. There's nothing bad about this. There's nothing wrong about this. This is not a problem. What I am feeling is not a problem. It's just what's here. And I am allowed to feel it. To know that my soul is appreciating this experience. It's not resistant to it. It doesn't judge the drama. In fact, it enjoys it. It's not as engaged as ego is. It is watching, aware that this is a play. And I can watch too. Not be so identified with ego and the mind. But yet I feel somewhere in between. I'm not quite in the free, detached space of the watcher. I see both. Ego has a strong pull right now. It wants me invested in it. To care, to be concerned. But the best thing I can do for it is not to be disturbed. Not to go there, not to go with it. To let it go where it pleases. To let it feel what it feels and express itself, but not to follow it. To just watch, to be the soul. The soul that is seeing and is feeling all of this. Feeling the fear, feeling the discomfort. Feeling the smallness, the diminishment, the uncertainty. And not worrying over it. Not resisting it, not fighting it, not saying that it's wrong or that it should change. Knowing that all of this is allowed to be felt. I am allowed to feel small. I am allowed to feel fearful. That's not a problem. I'm not asking that to change. I'm not asking the fear to go away. I am acknowledging its presence and that I am present with it. So here we are. You and I. Fear. Welcome to the table. You shall have a portion as mighty as the rest. Is there anything you would wish to speak? I want to call it in. I am so afraid of things going wrong. Of everything falling apart. Of life falling apart. Turning against me, making me into an enemy. I am afraid of being left alone. afraid that I am not worthy, that I am not well, that I am not wanted. I hear you, fear. I love you. I want you. You're welcome here, and you're safe in my arms. I don't push you away, or reject you, or tell you that you're wrong, that any part of your being is wrong. You're safe, fear. You are welcome in my kingdom, and you are provided for. Because you will have all the love that there is to give. I want to hold fear. Even as it squirms against it. And I can feel it. I wish to hold it not tightly, softly, carefully, lovingly, with space for it to breathe and to be. And I'm not asking it to change. I'm not asking this feeling within myself to change. I'm inviting it to be felt, to manifest fully. I can see that the mind wants to move away from this moment. It wants to escape into thinking. We're not escaping. We're not running. We're staying right here. We're big enough to feel this, to contain this, to experience this sensation and not to flee from it. The mind so quickly flees from sensation of all kinds. Let's be fully present with it. So tired. So tired. So give in. So lay down. Still a struggle to surrender. So I surrender to not surrendering, I suppose. I can be non-resistant to resistance. I can just accept that there's resistance here. There is strong resistance here, and that's what it is, and that's okay. That's really okay. And just keep telling myself, it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to feel really fucking not okay. That's okay. That is okay. That is safe. That's allowed. I'm so big and so well and so secure that I am allowed to feel totally insecure and diminished and awful. And it doesn't change a damn thing. It does not change my well-being, my abundance, my security. I'm allowed to feel the opposite of those things, and those things are not altered. I am allowed to feel as though I have failed completely, utterly. I'm allowed to feel that. And know that it doesn't mean that I have. But feel it all the same. Feel like I have. Feel like I am. I surrender to the feeling of failure. To the feeling of being lost, adrift, confused. It hurts. And it's allowed to. It's allowed to hurt. I am craving the relief of true surrender, true acceptance. But it's not here. I'll find my way into it. Accepting that this is just sensation is a key. That it's just what is. It is neither good nor bad. It is just sensation. Just experience. The mind is so full of delusion in all of its judgment. Just gonna sit here and try to feel and not think. It is a challenge for me not to let feeling rise into thinking. But that is just more of what is. That simply is what is. Judging the judgment doesn't achieve anything. Worrying about worry doesn't achieve anything. Resisting resistance, I can just leave it at the base layer. I can just see it and witness it and acknowledge it being what is. There is judgment, there is worry, there is resistance. This is present. These things ultimately are just presence, wearing different costumes. Players in the play, acting out their parts exactly as intended. That is enough. There is a little more spaciousness that has emerged just now. I can feel it in my ears, between them. A gentle sense of expansion, a little bit of pressure, but not unpleasant. Sort of fuzziness, warmth. I'm going to focus on that sensation now. And perhaps I will fall asleep because my eyes are heavy. This becomes more and more disjointed. That's okay. It simply is what is. Thank you for your witness, I say to myself. And if you are one who has witnessed being also myself, thank you. And know that I am witnessing you right now in this moment. It is all the same self, observing and being observed. And if any of this is felt on your part, you are safe. You are loved. And you are welcome. So it is.